So we just read the Grimm's brothers story, The Girl Without Hands. You want to start to give a summary?
Yeah, so the story starts with a miller and he's become like very destitute to the point where all he has is his mill and an apple tree behind it. Um, so I think one day he goes into the forest because and kind of uh I think he's lamenting his situation.
Well, he's chopping
Uh
wood. He's trying to get
yeah,
wood
and chopping wood and I think the devil appears
as
and
an old man.
mhm, and it kind of offers to fix his situation. And in exchange, he's asking for whatever is standing behind the mill. Um, so the miller accepts and says that yes, he can have what's standing behind his mill. And when he comes back home, his wife tells him that asks him where this wealth suddenly appeared in their chest, uh,
Yeah,
and
everywhere, like huge amount of
everywhere.
wealth.
Um, so the miller explains his encounter with the old man in the woods and the promise he had made. And the wife tells him that that wasn't an old man, that it must have been the devil because, like, it wasn't the apple tree that the old man was referring to wanting, but their daughter that was standing behind the mill at that time. So, yeah, so the devil had said he was going to, in 3 years' time, he was going to come back to retrieve what was behind the mill. So 3 years pass, and uh, the daughter, like she makes a circle of chalk around herself.
Well, and during the 3 years, she has
Mhm.
lived piously and holy and prayed and all that stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, so she's a good girl. But so anyway, she makes a chalk circle of chalk around herself, and to protect herself from the devil and watches herself daily in that circle. So when the devil comes, he can't cross the circle or and get to her because she's been washing herself too. Uh, so the devil demands the miller to like take away her water supply so that she can't wash herself anymore. So the miller does that. So then the second day he comes back, the girl, she has been crying, so the tears keep her hands clean, and the devil can't get to her because of that. So, he then demands the miller to cut off her hands so that she can't stay clean. And the miller tells him that he can't do that. And then the devil threatens the miller with his life if he doesn't do as he says. So the miller goes to his daughter and explains the situation, and um, yeah, he cuts off, and the daughter says that it's okay that he should do what he has to do. So she offers her hands, and the miller cuts her hands off. Um, but she still cried though, and that was enough to keep the stumps of her hands clean. So when the devil comes back and sees that, he realizes he can't have her for now. So he goes away, and uh, the miller's daughter tells her father that she'll rely on the goodwill of other people to stay safe, and she decides to leave.
Yeah, and that's after that he had said, I will provide for you the
Hmm.
best I can and honor you or something like that. It's hard to
Hmm.
understand exactly what he
Yeah.
says, but
So yeah, he
seems like he
promises.
guiltily kind of offers to do what he can.
Mhm. So yeah, she still like refuses that and says she'll rely on the goodwill of the rest of the world to live, and she leaves, walks away from home. Uh, so over the days, she's hungry and can't really provide for herself, and um, she prays to God for help, and an angel appears, and um, they go upon like like a garden or from like the king
Yeah,
with like
King's Orchard.
with, yeah, like a king's orchard. And she notices a lot of fruit in the tree, but she can't get to the tree without crossing I think it was a river of
Yeah,
sorts.
like a moat or
So
something.
yeah, so she calls out for help and the angel comes and creates a dam to block the river and she's able to cross and eat from the fruit with just her mouth. Um
And she
and
takes just one pear, I think, right?
mhm, mhm. And then the orchard keeper notices and he's really scared and thinks it's like a spirit coming. So he doesn't confront them and he tells, and over the days, like it happens and he tells the king about it. And the king says that he'll join him with a priest to catch them on that same night. So night falls and the king is with the orchard keeper and the priest and they see the ghostly girl coming out with the angel to eat from the orchard. And the priest approaches them and asks them if whether she's from heaven or earth. And she explains that she's a human being that's being kind of like rejected uh, by the world and stuff. And the king then approaches and says that she won't be rejected any longer. And he takes her for his wife and they get married. Um, so one day the king has to go to war. So
Oh,
he,
and they give her silver hands, right?
mhm.
Or does that
Yeah,
happen later? I think they give her silver hands.
yeah, I think that was before leaving. So yeah, he had silver hands made for her. And then and he takes care of her like very well. And then one day he has to go to war, so he leaves and tells his mother to take care of his wife now wife. And when he's gone, she gives birth to a son. So she sends a letter to inform him of the birth, and the messenger that was supposed to take that letter gets really tired and falls asleep midway through.
By a
Um,
stream.